Empathy Advantage Part 4. In the future, only the leader who understands people will survive. Imagine a nurse standing silently in a hospital corridor at 2 in the morning. There is no sleep in her eyes, only exhaustion. She cared for patients all day, listened to families' anxiety, followed doctors' instructions, and yet when she finally sat down to take a break, a message came on her phone. Can you cover one more shift? The fear begins here, because the people whose work is to care for others are often the ones no one cares for. And curiosity is born here. If companies truly want to survive in the future, though they only need smart strategy, or though they need a leader who can understand human pain, pressure, and hope. In the last part, we understood that company culture is not a poster, slogan, or free pizza. Culture is something visible in everyday decisions. We saw that trust is not built through micromanagement, but through clear expectations and freedom. We also understood that purpose does not let a company remain just a profit-making machine. It gives it meaning. But now the final question comes forward. Who creates culture? Who starts trust? Who brings purpose into daily work? The answer is the leader. This is the point where the entire story of the empathy advantage comes and rests on the leader. In the first part, we saw that after the pandemic, employee priorities had changed. In the second part, we understood that good employees are not identified and grown only through job descriptions, but through the right environment. In the third part, we learned that culture, trust, and purpose keep good employees in a company. And now, in this final part, we will talk about the leader who will have to change himself. Many years have passed since COVID-19, but its impact has not completely left the workplace. Perhaps with time, people may forget the empty streets during lockdown, the meetings running from home, and the uncertainty of every day. But the shock that period gave to the world of work is still felt. In 2023, the CDC had reported that burnout among health workers increased from 32% in 2018 to 46% in 2022. This was not just the story of healthcare, but a picture of workforce exhaustion. The pandemic made one thing clear. Companies that kept waiting for normal to return remained confused. But companies that accepted that normal would no longer be the same as before started changing themselves. They adopted remote tools, created flexible policies, listened to employee voice, and shifted leadership from command toward empathy. That was the real beginning of the modern workplace. Today, uncertainty is not a temporary phase. Technology is changing. AI is changing roles. The economy is unpredictable. Employee expectations are changing, and industries are transforming faster than before. In such times, a rigid leader becomes outdated quickly. A leader who says, "This is how it has always been done," cannot prepare his team for the future. But being flexible is only the beginning. The question is, does the leader only want to save the company, or does he also want people to grow? If the goal is only survival, policies may seem enough. But if the goal is meaningful success, empathetic leadership becomes necessary, because an empowered workforce is led not by orders, but by understanding. Empathy does not mean weakness. Empathy means the ability to see a situation from another person's perspective. It means being able to see not only carelessness behind an employee's mistake, but also pressure, unclear instructions, lack of training, or personal stress. It does not mean lowering standards. It means applying standards with humanity. In the old leadership model, the leader was above and workers were below. The leader thought, "I will decide, you will follow." This was an us versus them mindset. But the mindset of an empathic leader is different. He asks, how can we win together? He sees employees not as cost, but as capability. He sees the team not as something to control, but as a responsibility to develop. An empathic leader understands that every employee's reality is different. Someone has small children at home. Someone has the responsibility of parents. Someone is going through a health issue. Someone wants to learn, but has not got the chance. Someone wants to speak, but the culture has kept them silent. If a leader ignores these realities, he makes decisions by seeing only half the picture. The healthcare industry is a big example of this. The work of health workers is to care for patients. But after the pandemic, the world saw that those who care also need care. A 2025 editorial in Frontiers in Medicine also brings forward that burnout is not limited only to doctors. The well-being of nurses, allied health professionals, and support staff is also connected to patient care quality and retention. If a hospital leader only says, "There is a staff shortage, though an extra shift," the problem will grow further. But if he asks how workload will be managed, how childcare support can be given, how training can be kept updated, and how the daily environment can be made respectful, then solutions begin to emerge.
Empathy does exactly this. It allows the problem to be seen at the human level. This applies not only to healthcare. In every industry, employees go through pressure. A software engineer may be struggling with a release deadline. A customer support executive may be handling angry customers. A teacher may be caught between the classroom and admin work. A salesperson may be breaking under targets and rejection. An empathic leader understands the human load behind every role. The discussion around office perks also changes from here. In earlier times, perks meant pizza parties, coffee machines, casual Friday, or fancy lounges. These things are not bad, but if an employee is in burnout, has salary anxiety, or has unclear growth, pizza will not solve his problem. An empathetic leader asks what employees truly need. Though they need rest, flexibility, childcare support, mental health support, a learning budget, or a fair workload, unlimited vacation days have often been seen as a symbol of trust. The idea is simple. The company says, we trust that you will complete your work and rest when needed. But this policy works only when the culture is healthy. Research shows that the results of unlimited PTO depend on culture. Some employees may even take less leave because of high work pressure or unclear norms. So empathetic leadership does not mean giving a shiny benefit. If there is unlimited vacation, the leader must actively encourage rest. If there is flexible work, expectations must be clear. If there is remote work, isolation and communication must be taken care of. If there is a learning budget, employees must also be given time. A benefit becomes a real benefit only when people do not feel guilty using it. In 2024, SHRM wrote, based on the Empower report, that employees with unlimited time off take an average of 16 days off, while employees with specific time off take 14 days.
Meaning, the fear should not be that people will take too much leave. The real question should be whether the policy has been designed with trust and clarity or only for branding. An empathic leader sees benefits not as rewards, but as support systems. He does not think that employees should simply be given some perks to keep them happy. He understands that if a person is healthy, rested, and respected, his thinking will be better. And when thinking is better, decisions, creativity, and customer service will also be better. But the most difficult part of empathy is listening. Many leaders listen, but only to reply. An empathic leader listens to understand. When an employee says the workload is too much, he does not immediately say, everyone has work. He asks, which work is unnecessary? Which process has a bottleneck? What support is needed? This difference makes leadership human. The second part of empathy is recognizing bias. Every leader sees the world through his own experience. If the leader has faced tough conditions in his career, he may think that others should also face the same. He may say, we also worked hard, you should too. But an empathic leader understands that old struggle does not need to become the standard for the future. If the system can be made better, it should be made better. The third part is not running away from uncomfortable conversations. Empathy does not mean making everyone happy. Many times, the leader will have to give tough feedback, raise a performance issue, or make a difficult decision. But an empathic leader does all this with dignity. He does not correct by putting the person down. He talks about behavior and outcome, not by attacking identity. The fourth part is accountability. If empathy is without accountability, the organization can become weak. And if accountability is without empathy, the organization becomes harsh. A good leader has to keep both together. He says, I understand your situation, and I will support you, but we will complete this goal clearly. This is balanced leadership. Now connect the story of the entire series. First, we understood that the pandemic changed work. Employees no longer want only a job. They want respect, flexibility, and growth. Then we understood that a job description cannot capture future talent because a person's real potential is hidden in his interests, learning ability, and adaptability. Then we saw that culture, trust, and purpose connect an employee to the company for a long time. Now the final lesson is that the leader is the one who turns all these things into reality. If the leader is not empathic, culture becomes a slogan. Trust remains only a policy. Purpose becomes a marketing line. Psychological safety remains a training slide. Learning budgets are not used. Flexible work turns into control, meaning every good thing depends on the leader's behavior. That is why the Empathy Advantage sees empathy as a competitive edge. Heather McGowan and Chris Shipley's core message is that empathy is necessary to lead an empowered, exhausted, and changing workforce. Their book teaches leaders how to balance employee empowerment and organizational performance in post-pandemic uncertainty. Empathy will become even more necessary in the future because AI and automation will change many routine tasks. When machines process data, humans will be expected to show more judgment, creativity, collaboration, and emotional intelligence. In such a time, the leader will have to become not just a task manager, but a builder of human potential.
A leader who does not understand people's fears and motivation will remain weak even in a technology-heavy future. Today, every organization should ask itself some questions. Can our employees speak the truth? Can they accept mistakes? Are they learning? Though they feel guilty while taking rest, are they connected to the company's purpose? Is the manager helping them grow or only extracting work? If the answers to these questions are weak, then the problem may not be only in the employee, but also in the leadership system. This story is also important for employees. While building a career, though not look only at salary. See how the leader treats you. Does he listen to you? Does he talk about growth? Is there respect there? Can you be yourself there? Because talent also gets tired in the wrong environment, and in the right environment, even a normal person can do extraordinary work. Becoming a leader is not just a designation. Anyone can manage a team, but not everyone becomes a good leader. To become a good leader, more than power, you need patience. More than control, you need trust. More than ego, you need curiosity. And most importantly, before the result, you need the ability to see the human being. This is the real identity of empathic leadership. This does not mean that the company of the future will become soft. In fact, the company of the future will be smarter. It will understand that long-term success cannot be achieved by pushing people into burnout. It will understand that fear creates silence, and silence kills innovation. It will understand that trust brings ownership, and ownership improves performance. In the end, the entire learning of the empathy advantage comes to one simple point. The workplace has changed, the workforce has changed, expectations have changed, and now leadership will also have to change. The leader who runs away from this change will slowly become irrelevant. The leader who understands it will not only build a company, he will also build people's capability. So, if you are an employee, choose a place where your talent is not only used, but also grown. And if you are a leader, remember, your team is not rows in a spreadsheet. They are people with their own stories, fears, dreams, and responsibilities. Understanding them is not weakness. It is the biggest strength of leadership. Time will keep changing. A new crisis will come. Technology will change. The market will change. Jobs will change. But the things that will work in every era are an open mind, hunger to learn, trust in people, and empathy. Because the best leader of the future will be the one who does not only ask, was the work completed or not, but also understands, how is the person who did the work? And perhaps this is the biggest conclusion of the whole story. Good companies are not made by policies. They are made by people. Good people do not stay because of salary. They stay because of respect. And respect is born when a leader truly sees, listens, and understands. This is the empathy advantage. This is the real leadership of an empowered workforce. And this is the difference that will be visible in the coming time between ordinary companies and truly great organizations.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.